Hello everyone. So today I thought I'll probably make a very quick video, a short video I promise, to show you Emacs client, and I have covered this in the past, um, I think a couple of times or at least once, but I think that was long time back, and I have been using Emacs client quite a lot. I use it in fact for my day-to-day basic file editing needs. So in case you don't know, I use Emacs and org mode for doing a lot of wonderful things. But when you're using Emacs with org mode, you will always have one window of Emacs running somewhere on your computer. And when that is the case, you can actually also start a server from your Emacs, and when you start the server you can actually do something really cool. So let me show you what I am talking about. So, and I'll also explain what and why I do it. So let me open my Emacs configuration file so that I can show you. So in your Emacs you can actually do something like this. If you want, you can actually add this line in your init file, which is server start. That is it. And you can also do it, by the way, using your you can always start the server if you want manually from your Emacs. But of course, I don't really want to do it all the time. So when this server is running, what you can do, you can actually use Emacs client, which I believe I covered in the past. Now the good thing about Emacs client is that not only you can use, if I run, let us say there is a file somewhere on my desktop. Let us create a file, test.txt, or maybe I'll just do it in the temp directory. I do have a temp directory because why not? So I do have a temp directory where I will create test.txt, and once I do that, I can actually use Emacs client. And if I do this, by the way, it will actually open the file here on the actual server, so this is my test.txt. This is, of course, the let me increase the size. Oh, come on, Control X, Control plus. Yep. So this is my file, and if you go back to the terminal, and if you press Control C, it will basically save the file. If you, it will basically exit, but the file is actually on your server. It will actually open it on your actual server. Basically your application, your Emacs window. Now, most of the times I don't really want to do it because I want to, of course, if I want to modify a line, or if I want to work on the file, I can do it within the terminal if I pass in NW as the argument. And now this file is actually here, in my terminal. I can, of course, I can modify the file, and I can save it, and I can exit. Great, right? Now the thing is that now you must be wondering why I use Emacs client like this. Can't I just do Emacs like with no window mode? And of course I can. I don't have to. Now the problem is that not really a problem. I think I did something wrong. It is not text. Come on, test.txt. So yeah, so this is my file. This is the file being edited in Emacs directly. So basically, because I have Emacs server running, basically I have Emacs running, and because I use org mode and other customizations, I don't really want because every time I start Emacs, it won't be in the org mode, by the way. If I do Emacs client, if I go back to the previous one, you will notice that right now there might not be any on top. There is no header, and of course there are a few things which are missing because it is running in the terminal, but it has my org mode, and I can actually do a lot of wonderful things, like I can search in my agenda if I have to, and the main reason why I do it, why I use this Emacs client, is because I work on things, org files that are scattered. Like, I mean, not really scattered, but basically they are not always in my org mode. It can usually the org files are listed as the files that are part of my agenda. So there is a concept of org agenda, and I have of course few files and in fact couple of folders, and org mode will look at those folders, those files, and treat them as agenda files. But that is not always the case. If I'm, let us say, writing a slideshow, and I'm probably writing something which is not part of my agenda, it is nothing but an org file, I still want it to have all the customizations that I have using my org mode init file. And that is why if I run Emacs client, it is basically going to use my server with all my own custom settings. And I thought I'll probably talk about it because when you're, and by the way, you can also use maybe a shortcut alias for this Emacs client, so you don't have to type the whole Emacs client. But I don't really mind typing it, but I do have like alias for this. But I thought I'll probably share this because using this NW option here, it will actually open the file in the terminal with all your configurations, and it is of course going to make you very efficient. If you are, imagine doing it in the same buffer or maybe in the same application, because if you're using your Emacs, of course, you don't have to, switch from Emacs to terminal, but I personally keep my Emacs separate. And if I have to, let us say, navigate to a file, usually, one more reason. So, of course, Emacs is great, but Emacs is not like, like if you want to do for the searching, and you have the ability here to basically perform search very quickly if you have to. And the good thing about this fuzzy search is that the moment you select, first of all, you can type and the list will be filtered. But the moment you select anything, let us say, test.txt, it will actually return the file path. And that is amazing because when the file path is returned to you, you can actually open it in Emacs or Emacs client. Because right now, I do use for the search, but I don't really use it using this command. I have a shortcut where I run a script, and when I run a script, I'm doing the same thing. But this time, if I show you this same test.txt, where is the file? Okay, yeah, it is now coming here. Now, if I press enter, it will open the file in Emacs. And of course, I'm not really using Emacs client, but I can. And for doing that, I actually use, let me just open it one more time, and I'll probably show you the actual shell script. And I'll probably figure out the shortcut and the script that I'm calling. So the shortcut is super E, which is Windows. Of course, we are on Linux, but the keyboard has this window super key. And if I press this with E, it will call this file called EM. And it will open it in my ST terminal. And my EM is nothing but a shell script, which I can show you so that you can understand what this script is doing here. So Emacs client, and or I don't need to open the whole terminal. I can just do ls. So I'll go to my this particular, my shell scripts are also symlinked to my local bin, which is in the path. So I don't have to go to the full path all the time to run the script. But I'm just showing you this particular file. So if you look at this particular file, it is first, basically the when I run the script, it will basically execute this command where it will perform a search based on this dot, which is searching in the current directory. But it can also, usually it is everywhere, but it will basically look for, pass this to fzf for the search, and the moment I press enter after selecting the file, it will give you the path, right? And the path is actually stored in a file variable, which I can open in Emacs or Emacs client. What I can also do is I can check whether Emacs client, because if Emacs is not running, then Emacs client won't work. So I can also modify the script slightly if I have to. So these are some wonderful things that you can do when you are using Linux, and when you are trying to make your computer work for you the way you want, and you can be super efficient. So imagine, these small tricks and tips that I'm sharing with you. Imagine, doing it learning these things first of all, and incorporating these shortcuts, various small scripts to basically improve your workflow so that you can focus on doing what really matters. And you can actually navigate the files, quickly search them, and open them in your favorite editor with your favorite mode if you want to. And you can also have various shortcuts to perform these things. So that is all I wanted to talk about today in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.